Just a small bite.
No.
Come on.
Let me tell my friend Gina what you're
Just a small bite.
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on, Bernie. I'll put it in your pocket.
No.
We know you like the brown.
Welcome to the AfterBuzz. Yeah, we've been live for about 20, 40 seconds now. Welcome to the AfterBuzz. Joining us today, of course, your host, Brandon Coates. I'm Scott Lewis behind the whatever I'm behind, and Fernie joining us today.
Who doesn't want to eat some chocolate?
Yeah, we got some chocolate.
it?
It's pretty good.
It's delicious
No,
chocolate.
thanks.
Come on, Bernie.
No. But I did get a cool, what is this, shot glass, you would say?
Yeah. Show the shot glass. Yeah, cool. Very nice.
Pretty fancy.
Fancy schmancy.
Fernie's showing tremendous willpower right now by not eating this chocolate. You sure?
My mouth is watering so bad.
So good. Oh, I don't even like sweets.
All right, explain real quick about your contest to lose weight. Just to remind people who may not know.
So Monday, for a while now, we've had to update photos for the show. As I'm eating this chocolate, I'm sorry. I didn't think ahead about messing with Fernie and actually having to talk. So we've had to update the photos for the show, and we were like, "Hey, let's do it this week at some point." And Fernie's like, "Wait, is there any way we can wait a couple of weeks? I really want to drop some weight."
Yes.
And Buzz is like, "Bullshit! Like, there's no way you're dropping weight, dude." So then it just kind of became this thing of how much Fernie thinks he can lose in a certain amount of time. And originally you said 20.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I was way in over my head, so I changed.
He was getting cocky. That's what he was doing.
I changed my number.
So he went from saying that he could lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks to 14 pounds in 2 weeks. So it's basically a pound a day. And based on his weight today, you are
on track.
Yeah, ahead of schedule actually.
Yeah.
If it's 1 pound a day, he dropped 1.5 pounds since yesterday. So Fernie is ahead of schedule. Buzz still doesn't think that you are gonna do it.
Right. I feel like I can though, because I mean I don't want to be seen in the thong. Although I think it would be a better sight than seeing Buzz in a thong.
That's true. That's the punishment for if Fernie does drop 14 pounds in 2 weeks. The photo shoot's done with Buzz in a thong. If Fernie does not complete the task and doesn't lose, Fernie has to do the photo shoot in a thong.
Now
either way, Joanna and I are going to be losing.
Fernie's taking one for the team in this case. He's going to have to lose all the weight so that he doesn't have to let the world see Buzz in a thong. I think that's heroic.
Well, and the sad thing too is Buzz is very comfortable in his little
thong.
Tuxedo underwear that he strips down to.
Strikingly comfortable.
Yeah, like uncomfortably comfortable is actually how it is. So that's what we have with Fernie going on. And so yesterday, let's give a quick update. Yesterday, Buzz tempted you with Tapatio chips that you did not eat.
Yeah.
And I even spread them out all over his keyboard, and he put them back in the bag and gave them to Joanna.
I think she was looking for them this morning too. So.
Because Buzz moved them. Buzz found them and he put them back over in front of you. Buzz got Fernie and RC Cola for our meeting yesterday, which Fernie did not drink.
I did not.
Yesterday we ordered food for the meeting, and Fernie ordered a grilled chicken salad with balsamic vinaigrette.
Although they put avocado in there, and I'm like deadly allergic to avocado.
Oh.
So I touched my lips, and I was like, my lips were swollen for like a good hour till the Benadryl kicked in.
Carlos says you can lose a buttload of weight just by cutting off an arm. There you have it. So
well, we heard there were some people yesterday too that were saying that basically just go give blood, like like that morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
and then
point.
whenever the blood comes out, that'll be another weight loss.
That'd be interesting.
So then yesterday you did eat the salad. What did you eat yesterday after that?
Another salad after that, and I ate like a couple of nuts. So
that's first time.
Kimberly wants to know what was it like doing the show with Munchies, Late Night Munchies.
It was a little awkward. I mean,
well, it's because you kept trying to get him to blow you.
No, he wanted to blow me. Like that was his go-to joke, and I told Scott like he was just very perverted, but he just wanted to suck me off, I guess. But it's really weird when you're talking to a puppet and you know that the person's
like right down
there.
Yeah.
But you have to talk to
the
what's
puppet.
up top.
Right.
So you'd have a tough time with Sesame Street?
Yeah, I would have a tough time with Sesame Street. But they keep TVs, up so you can look at yourself and the puppet. So that kind of helped. It was a little awkward though. And those puppets are very expensive. Very expensive.
Oh yeah,
They-
exactly.
they are
we did ask if they
Incredibly well made.
Yeah, we did
I mean,
ask-
they look like they take a lot of time and effort into those things.
how much did they quote us on?
$350 per puppet.
And we were gonna do a Buzz one, and then we were thinking of doing a Trump one. And I think we almost landed on it. If we want to buy one, we would actually do a Nostradamus.
That would be
puppet.
cool, yeah.
Interesting. Cool guy wants to know if corporate has any say as to what we talk about on this show.
No, as long as we're not talking about corporate stuff, they don't care. Like people have been asking about this, like using curse words here and whether or not we're, guided by the FCC here. No, we're not. We can
Just
say
use some
whatever we
cuss
want.
words. Drop this on.
Fuck. Like we can do it all we want. It's just whether or not it's appropriate and whether or not you
Yeah.
are just cursing for the sake of cursing, which I don't find entertaining at all. What he was perverted, he didn't fall too far behind.
Well, kind of when you're going down that route, you really have no choice but to have a comeback. And I'm glad that I was funnier than the puppet.
Kim, we're going to get to that here in a little bit. When Fernie's gone is when I'll get into the whole
I have a
argument.
I have a question though before Fernie, because Fernie's only going to be here for part of the show. But I had a question because we had Todd Bridges on the show earlier this week.
Yes.
And he walked right. I wasn't in the studio, but he walked right past my office, and I was like, "Hello," and he didn't say a word. Neither him nor his entourage acknowledged me at all, and I was like, "Oh, now I know what Willis is talking about. Screw that dude." Looking kind of jaundiced on this camera here. But
You
anyway,
are.
so what was Todd and his entourage like?
Oh, he's one of those people who come in that they've been like a celebrity for so long. They have this sort of
I'm
Wait.
almost holier than now.
Yes.
Like he kind of came off. He seems still like a pretty cool guy.
when you get to know him, yes.
But he like a lot of his story. Like when Buzz would ask him a question, he's like, "Oh, well, who didn't I know back then?" And it's like,
Yeah, whatever. He tried to say that he didn't know, he never heard of El Paso, and he didn't want to take off his sunglasses until right before we got on air. Otherwise, we would have added him to that list of people who wear their sunglasses during an interview.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I got
Cole guy, yes, we can use the station logo and we can say whatever the fuck we want, as long as we're not talking about like corporate stuff. As long as it's not like, obviously we can't. There are certain things that we can't say because they're just things you don't say as a human being. If that's what the road you're going down. But as far as like curse words and stuff, it doesn't matter. It's the internet. Possible chat guest for the After Buzz. Next week, I haven't messaged him, but Frank, but if you're watching this, if next week he could come in, that'd be great because we're going to talk some fantasy football because Kaplowitz is going to join me as well.
Oh, wow.
Because we have Kaplowitz and I are hosting a fantasy football event next Thursday at the Angry Owl from 6:30 to 9 p.m.
Very cool. Also, we're bringing back the Pro Football Pick'em on the website again this year too. So you have all kinds of opportunities to compete against one another.
Did you ever pick him, Fernie?
No, but if
You gonna do it this year?
what do you suggest, Scott? I mean, there's really nothing to lose in this, right?
No, not really. It's you're just picking, and then you either do a good job or you don't.
Well,
do a
what's
good
even
job.
funnier is if you have somebody who like really knows football and really studies their stuff, and if you play it and you do well, it's just get like if Kaplowitz is
It
like get his ass
burns.
handed to him. It's like that quote from Happy Gilmore when he looks at Shooter McGavin and he's like, you know, the funny thing about this, you've been playing golf your whole life, and then he just fucking struts away as he's kicking his ass.
thing
It's
is-
kind of like that.
I wouldn't take Kablowitz's advice because during the company's NCAA bracket challenge, he did horrible.
Really?
Yeah.
I did the worst, and I actually watch college basketball, and it wasn't even close. It's not like, oh, I might be able to like creep my way up to the
Yeah.
all four teams gone in like the first or second round. I thought the Pac-12 was stronger than it was, and I got my ass kicked. Starting a Facebook. Do you want to start a Facebook group for the chatters? I don't have time to.
A Facebook group for the chatters.
Yeah, Cole guy wants to know. Would you start a group
Why
on
doesn't
Facebook
one of
for
the
the
listeners
chatters?
start one for the chatters and just add us?
There you go.
Wow. That's like
Boom.
Flipped it on
that's
you.
some King Solomon stuff right there.
Any more questions for Fernie before he gets out of here?
I don't think so. I think they want to hear about your whole Buzz brand.
Yeah, we'll get to
podcast,
we'll get
right?
to that whole thing here.
Yeah.
Kimberly says that she finds people who pick teams by the prettiest color, the cutest players, always win.
Well, yeah, because people usually pick the Patriots and they win a lot.
Oh! Here we go!
Oh! Touchdown, Tommy! All right, you good, Bernie?
Yes, I'm good.
All right, here, you want some chocolate?
No, for sure. Fine.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Fernando
Gomez.
Cuevas.
All right.
Wow, I gotta give it to the kid for his willpower at this point. Like, he's
That's-
really sticking to it.
That's impressive, I have to say, because if you put that in my face, it's just going right down my face hole. That's just
I got another one. You want?
that's how I.
You go.
Yep.
Just kidding.
All
All right, so I have other things to talk about here. The first one is the fantasy football for the chatters. If you guys do want to join, I think we still have spots open. You can email me, brandon@buzzadamshow.com. Basically, all I do at that point is send the details to Frank, who's a chatter, who he's the one who's set up the league. So God bless him for doing that, because I run a league and it's not easy. You get people that complain. Being a commissioner of a fantasy football league is a thankless job.
Oof.
It is, I mean, completely thankless job. Especially like the one that I run is a free league. So it gets very difficult to get people to check their lineups every week when there's no money involved. Like if they're losing, they kind of just become like, well, like, it doesn't really matter. Like I don't need to look or whatever,
Yeah.
which is unfair to the rest of the people, because then if that person is playing somebody who's in for a playoff spot, but they're going up against a team that has 3 open spots, then it's like handing them a win. But regardless, anyway, so fantasy football, Kaplowitz is going to join me next Wednesday. Frank, I'll reach out to you, buddy, about possibly joining in next week as well, so we can talk some fantasy football. And then we have the Angry Owl appearance coming up on a week from tomorrow, actually.
Very cool.
Okay, so who wants to hear about the blow up? Basically what happened, and this is it's nothing new. I mean, obviously you guys know this isn't the first time that Buzz and I have hashed it out. This was arguably the worst one.
All right.
This was a big one.
Set the scene.
So he asked me a question, and one of the problems Buzz has is that he feels if it sounds like we're complaining about what we do, he immediately wants to cut us off, which is not what I felt I was doing. The question that was presented was, do you think Americans take enough vacation time? And granted, I did take too long to get to my point. But the point that I was making was that I feel, for me and for a lot of people I know, at least the way it used to be for me, was that when you would take a vacation, if you're leaving on a Friday, that Friday, you are slammed to the gills with work to make sure that you catch up on stuff before you leave.
Right.
While you're gone, chances are you got to have your phone on you because an emergency is going to pop up. And then even that, if you come back like the next Thursday, you're going to be slammed with work because you've been gone. And I think that that's a reason why a lot of Americans don't take vacation, is because that workload never goes away. I'm a firm believer that if you've trained people properly, they have to bust their ass a little bit more while you're gone, but then while they're gone, you're going to have to bust your ass a little bit more. It's a give and take.
It all works out.
And that was the point that I was giving to with Joanna, is this, and she's my backup. If I've trained her properly, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about extra workload before I leave. I don't have to worry about getting a phone call. I don't have to worry about extra work when I get back, because Joanna is fully capable. I trust Joanna. I trust her decision making. There's a reason I picked her to be the backup.
There you go.
So Buzz cuts me off, and I fucking hate it when he does it. Especially when I was that close to finishing the point. And he gets in these finicky moods sometimes when it comes to things like this. And yesterday I was fed up with it, and I did think it was funny that a lot of people were kind of curious as to what happened because I called him a little bitch on the air.
That's awesome. Happy day.
Because he started to play like the cricket sound effects, and so I eventually turned his microphone off so I could finish my point, but then I turned it back on, and in all honesty, to me at the time, he was acting like a little bitch. Just shut up and let me finish my point, which he does not take kindly to in any way, shape, or form. So we go into break, and so we have the talk back buds. He gets in the talk back, and he goes, "You take the show, I'm leaving." All right. So I'm all ready to go. Like, I'm going to take the rest
Yeah.
of the show, the remaining 20 minutes. 2 minutes later, he comes back. You know what? I'm going to finish the show, but you don't talk. Okay. So I spent the last 20 minutes of the show with my mic off, chatting with the YouTube chatters.
Yeah.
Just because, and I was still paying attention, obviously, because if they let something slip, I got to hit the dump button in case they curse.
What day was this?
This was yesterday.
I missed this.
This was yesterday.
Holy shit.
So that's how the show wraps up. And on top of this, a band came in yesterday to record some stuff that we had no idea was coming in.
Yeah,
It was last minute. So it was just like a whole bunch of shit going on. And then we had a digital meeting with Scott where he was kind of presenting a lot of stuff to all of us on-air people. And so there's a whole lot of things moving. And then it's like 5 minutes before the meeting starts. And I go into Buzz's studio and I'm like, hey, do you want to talk about what happened on the air? And he's like, He's like, I don't know if we really have time. And I'm like, I'm not really sure what the big problem is. I go, I know what set you off, and it's when I called you a little bitch. And he already starts getting red. Like, he really fucking hates that.
Wow.
So we kind of hash it out. Everything kind of seems to be okay. And I told him, I go, do we need to hug it out? And he's like, maybe after the meeting. He's like, I'm not really there yet. So we go to the meeting, and the meeting seems to go fine. Like, he's joking around with me,
Yeah.
Like the meeting's perfectly
I didn't even know
okay.
anything was going on. No.
So that's how we're good at hiding it.
Yeah.
So
Hide your feelings.
after the meeting, we're in there working. We're each working on our own stuff, conversing normal, like, hey, should we do this? Hey, here's something I'm working on. Here's something I need. And then as I'm starting to pack my stuff up, it's when he's like, I really need to know that you understand what I meant today. And then it just fucking, like, I'm talking like atom bomb.
Mushroom cloud.
I'm not going to get into details on it, but it was fucking big. So, but here's the thing, but the end all be all, and this is the great thing about my relationship with Buzz, is we can have that happen, but it's very momentarily.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of it, we hugged it out. And it was like, look, we're moving on from this. This is where you came from.
That's what dudes do,
This
man.
is where I came from. And now we just kind of got to meet in the middle. And the end all be all too is, in all honesty, it's his show. It is the Buzz Adams morning show.
Right.
So as much as I can push back and as much as I can do things to get under his skin and do things that I think should be done, and as much as I control the show, being the guy actually pushing the buttons and keeping the time, it's his name on the marquee. It's his name on the logo. So I do need to default to him, but there are times when I don't. And that's what really pisses him off.
So, okay. All right. So if you're not going to give details, like, has policy changed at least? Like, is there like, we're going to handle this differently on the air now?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Basically, the one thing that I hate is, like, the big thing is he wanted, and we lost the video again.
Yeah.
The big thing that he wanted to do was move on because he wanted to get off that top. Like, he kept coming up with kind of different excuses for what he wanted, which is when I know that he's really just upset almost because he's upset. He doesn't have a reason for being upset. So I told him basically at this point, I was like, there's a better way to tell me that. I go, the way you jumped in, I found rude. And I've always been the kind of person, if you're rude to me, I'm going to be rude back, but probably even more rude. Which, of course, with Buzz, he has the exact same kind of personality, which then with both of us, it only escalates. So, and that's why it escalated in me calling him a little bitch. So, the end all was basically, we need to be more cognizant of what we're talking about and being able to move on and not get stuck on, I need to be an ass to him. I know he's going to do it.
Yeah.
But I need to be the guy that ends it. Like, just as like, okay, let it roll off my back. It's fine. It's Buzz. It's what he wants. It's his show.
Fascinating. So I almost called you guys that morning. So I was listening when you were talking about the day before when you were guys talking about vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I used to work in newspaper, there was a rival newspaper across town, and the editor was a guy from Sweden who, by the way, wrote and spoke better English than most Americans do, and Native Americans too, for that matter. But he was talking about, he was going on vacation one day, and we got to be pretty good friends. He was telling me, like, when he got to town, he asked, like, well, how much vacation time am I going to get? And they were like, oh, a week, because you just started, so like a week. And his face dropped, and I was like, why? Like, what do you guys get in Sweden? He's like, in Sweden, you start with like a month's vacation.
Jesus.
And then as you progress in your career, you add and add and add to that, which is great, except that you can bank your vacation, kind of like some teachers do.
So you take like a full year sabbatical?
It's exactly what they do. He said, so when you're ready to retire and you've got all this, you've got a year's worth of vacation, a lot of people in Sweden will take, they call it like a life trip, and they'll take an entire year off and just travel
I want to do
the
that.
world and Europe and all that stuff. And they're still technically, and they're getting paid that whole time. So, so America, like, let's get on that shit, huh?
Erica, I know I'm not going to watch Stranger Things with him. I already watched it this weekend. And Buzz, he's only has like 2 episodes left. So, and he even said he wasn't he wasn't that big of a fan. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was amazing. I thought that the way that it was presented, I thought the acting, I thought the writing, all of it was brilliant. And there were some true stories that actually led to them creating Stranger Things. And the post is up at buzzadamshow.com that I did yesterday about like true government stories that kind of led to it. And some of the stories you've heard of, like the one where they used to give people acid.
Yeah.
And they would like monitor them, but they didn't know they were on acid. Like, how fucked up is that?
How do you get to be part of those trials?
I don't know. They're bringing acid back though. LSD is an actual, like, as a medication to help with anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. Because for the longest time, LSD, it had to do, and I'm going to butcher the hell out of this. It had to do with somebody like committed suicide while they were on LSD, and they blamed LSD, which then basically became the ban on LSD. And there's more to this. There's actually a really good podcast, Stuff You Should Know, on LSD. Go listen to that. Don't trust me, because they have the facts. I'm just trying to remember it off the top of my head.
Did you ever hear about this? And it happened in Washington, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was a video game. And it was set up in an arcade, like one arcade in like Washington. And it never showed up anywhere else. And it was very popular. And then it just disappeared one day. And like the thought was that it was like some sort of a military recruiting tool.
Like if you're really good at the game.
Right, yeah. Like then they'd come see you. I can't remember the name of it. But there's, I'm sure that there's something on YouTube that you can dig up and watch it. I remember watching something and thinking like that was cool. The government's messed up.
So going quickly back to the vacation topic too, because this is something that we ran into frequently in Florida, is that when you're talking about how people would bank up, and it's something I think that a lot of businesses and a lot of people have a problem with, is that, especially when I was in Florida, you got this feeling from people, if I train so-and-so to do my job while I'm gone, I'm putting myself at risk for being fired.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it makes me easily expendable.
I can see
a lot of people felt that way, but there's a problem in that, because there was one department in that building where there was a group of employees who had all been there for 20 plus years.
Right.
So they've all banked just a ton of vacation time. And we looked at, you look at the calendar and how many weeks there are in a calendar, and they couldn't take vacation time at the same time. So like at least 3/4 of the year, one of them was gone, and all hell constantly broke loose when they were gone, because nobody was ever trained properly. And you get that feeling that the reason that they weren't training somebody properly is because they were afraid that if things worked fine while they were gone, the company would see that and the company would think that you're expendable, which in my brain is bullshit. Things should work fine because people are busting their ass a little bit more. If you're not, like, if you're doing the best job that you can and you're an asset, you'll be fine. Like, be confident in your job. Be confident in the amount of work that you do. Don't concern yourself with that. But unfortunately, people do. And that's what fucks us over.
You guys in the chat, you ever get that passive aggressive thing from the company where it's like, please take all your vacation. Like, take it all before the end of the year. Like, get rid of all your vacation. but also don't go on vacation. Please don't go on vacation. Like, what are you going to go on vacation right now?
Yeah.
You're going to leave us in the lurch like that? Please take all your vacation, but don't take your vacation. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, that was like when I was talking to Buzz today about just vacation here, and I was just kind of shooting the shit in the hallways, and he was like, here's why, because he mentioned Labor Day. He wants to go to Portland with me.
Oh.
So he made the comment. He's like, every single vacation I take, he's like, I go back to Oklahoma. He's like, I spend it with my parents. And I'm like, that's what I did when I was in Florida.
Yeah.
Like when I lived in Florida, almost every single vacation was going back to Portland. Outside of a couple of vacations, like there was one where we spent like Christmas in New York. But pretty much other than that, every single trip of mine was going back to Portland. And right now, I told Buzz, I'm like, if you want to pay for the plane tickets and stuff, we can go to Portland if you want, man, over Labor Day. And then I am planning a vacation in November. I've got a buddy of mine getting married. So I'll be going to his wedding as well. I think I'll just be taking a couple of days off of that. But I feel confident enough, at least, in Joanna's skills that I don't have to worry about things when I'm gone.
Yeah.
She should have everything told to her that she needs to be done, but I also trust her problem solving skills, because that's the biggest thing that I think a lot of people pass on. What are your problems? Like if an issue comes up, are you able to solve it?
And are you going to collapse into a panicky mess? Yeah.
And even at that point, are you able to solve it and come up with it? Make sure it never happens again, but also solve that issue so that it can be done quickly. Like that's one thing that I do frequently is when I get a new task, I have a weird learning curve. Like I am so fucking slow when it comes to things.
Oh, really?
When I start. And then like if you're looking at like a normal learning curve, like if it just kind of goes like this, normal, it can almost even be straight. Mine will kind of like, it's really, really slow. But once I get it,
bam,
it's fucking through the roof, and then it becomes like it's nothing. Like I remember when I worked in a machine shop, I like doing the drilling and everything else that I'm doing. Like I was so fucking slow, but like I have this weird muscle memory where all of a sudden I just do it without even thinking, and that's the way like I edit audio. Like I don't have to listen to most of the shit that I edit because you can see the wave file.
Right, you know where it's going to be.
So you know where it is. So like I can edit things technically while we're on the air because I know what I'm looking at. I edited a guy's MTV Espanol air check, like his demo.
Yeah.
I edited it without even knowing what the fuck he was saying.
That's funny.
So, I mean, it's just it's the way my brain works, but I'm so fucking slow, and it's what frustrates the hell out of me is I want to get things faster. I want to know it.
Yeah.
But it takes me a lot longer to get to it. But once I do get to it, then the sky's the limit.
Everybody's got their own way to do it. I'm going to play with these colors here because I'm looking kind of, ooh, look at that.
Sonia says that she did great when Buzz and I were out. That's what we heard, that they did a fantastic job while we were gone. On that note too, like we get a lot of complaints about this, is running the best of when Buzz is gone. And a lot of people will complain. They think it's his ego that means that we have to do it.
Really?
They're like, we want to listen to new stuff. And I remember one of the first times we did like when he was gone, we did a lot of new material, and we got a lot of positive feedback saying this is great. Like, I like the news, I like all this other stuff. But the only problem is you have to remember it is the Buzz Adams morning show. He's not an egomaniac. He can be a bit of a bitch and a diva, but he's not an egomaniac. Like he fought big time when it came to naming the show the Buzz Adams Morning Show. He didn't want it called that, but that's what it is. And especially since we're in these other markets now, this is the crucial time to make sure that, especially if he's gone, his voice is still on the air. It's still bits with him in it. So that's why we do that.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he's also the driver of the show too, and considering the work he's got to do, and you don't have that person, it's like having Penn and Teller, but like Teller's always sick, like that's just not gonna work.
Yeah, and just have Penn who's silent.
Yeah.
I think if that was about it. If anybody has any questions, bring them up. I'm sorry I don't have any giveaways today. I did put up another post at buzzadamshow.com today, though, called it's about September Burton that they got going on at Alamo Draft House.
Cool, that's cool.
And this is what they have coming up. They have Corpse Bride August 28th, Beetlejuice August 31st, Edward Scissorhands September 2nd, Mars Attacks September 4th, Pee-wee's Big Adventure September 10th, which scared the shit out of me when I was
Oh, are
a
you
kid.
kidding? That was the most terrifying movie ever.
Large Marge!
Large Marge! That's scarred for life.
And what's funny is it's not even Large Marge is the first thing that pops into my head. It's when his bike is stolen and he's like freaking out and the camera keeps changing and there's that laughing clown that he had strapped his bike to. Ugh. And I'm not scared of clowns, but that's creeped me out. So Pee-wee's Big Adventure September 10th, Big Fish September 12th, and Batman on September 17th. And the cool thing is with some of this stuff, I reached out to Oscar at Alamo Draft House to kind of ask him what they do. Is they have what is called a movie party. And you'll notice that on here, if you go to the link, if you go to the website, on Beetlejuice, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and Batman, there's a movie party. With the movie party, you get props. Like with Batman, you get a cowl. Like you get stuff for this. So that's all coming up. You can check out that post at buzzadamshow.com.
Cowl should be like more socially acceptable.
What do you want?
I would totally.
Is your
wear
thing
cowls.
over?
No, we're in the middle of it. Go away.
No, you're not.
We're
Yeah, we are.
literally right
We're
here.
literally, you want to come say hi? Don't touch me. Here, you want some chocolate?
Fuck yeah.
See? Fernie wouldn't eat it.
Really?
So on that note, did we hug it out yesterday?
Yeah.
Should we hug it
Okay,
out?
we're good. Everything's good.
You want to hug it out on camera right now?
Yeah. There you can say seated.
No, get off me, man. All right, that's it for this week.
We should end every show like this.
With a buzz hug.
Yeah, that's great. All right.
Oh, Cole guy asked if Buzz considers himself a diva.
Probably a little.
I don't get that. No, kinda. I mean,
Look, it's lonely at the top. That's
it's
how it is. It's lonely at the top.
lonely at the top because he spends all his time by himself.
All right. Well, on that particular note, that is another edition of the AfterBuzz. We'll be back next week with Steve Kaplowitz. coming in.
Kaplowitz will be here. Frank, if you watch this, I'm going to reach out to you, see if you can come in too. We'll talk some fantasy football. Bromance, Kim, friendship.
Hug your co-host today.
Have you hugged a coworker today? All right. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, you can always email me.